Hello, Internet, and thanks for coming back for another episode of Fighting the Void. We are back again a little bit sooner than normal, but there's been so much going on. There have been so many really cool guests and everything, potentials to exploit here, and we're all about talking to cool people when we can. And to that end, we have a special guest for you guys here today. She is best known as Safe Space Assassin, or at Twitter side lives on the Twitters. But today she'll be known as the Queen Bee for reasons that you may or may not already know. And of course, with me as usual is my excellent and lovely co-host, Crystal.
Hello.
I like the bow. That's a good touch. And this is not, I promise you, this is not the start of the Ginger Uprising. Pay no attention to the fact that everybody here is at least somewhat ginger. It's okay. It's safe. So long as you're watching and you say nice things about us, we're not going to steal your souls today. But what we do have here is we have Queen Bee here, and we're going to talk about the time that she went and decided to rattle the Bee Hive a little bit. And just in case anybody shows up, any of them show up, I'm ready to go. Okay, so come at me, y'all. All right. So, Miss B, what is it that you did to so upset the Hive?
I don't know. All I did was I heard a Beyonce song that came on the radio, and yes, some of us still listen to the radio, and I just thought, you know what, her music sucks. So I sent a tweet out, and the exact tweet was, "Attention everyone, Beyonce's music is trash, that is all." And all of a sudden I had so many people attacking me. I was called Becky, Allison. I had no eyebrows. I was a white privileged bitch, all because of that single tweet that I sent out. I was actually really shocked that any idiot would defend somebody that had no clue who the hell they were.
So, okay, we're going to revisit a lot of what you just said right there. But now, Crystal, are you familiar with Miss Beyonce's music at all?
I am, and I don't love her music. There are some songs of hers I do enjoy, and I've been kind of going through a weird hip hop phase and listening to some of them. Her older songs that I much prefer than the new ones. I either haven't heard her new ones or I've heard the new ones and I'm like, I've heard the older ones. So it's more so I like some of her stuff. I don't get the big hype behind it. But
now, are you terribly offended that Queen Bee here decided express a negative opinion of the Queen of Pop's music?
You know what? I am so upset that she would say that about an artist that I don't even love. How could you?
Can you even right now?
I can't. I'm laughing with anger. No, I mean, and I've heard people before just be completely rude about people who I do enjoy and love, listening to and watching and whatnot. And it's like,
yeah. I'm sorry, I'm being paged. Yes, sir. How may I help you?
Me and Joe use the computer for a little.
Yes, you may.
Uh-oh.
Right.
I say yes.
Yeah, well, they are. I don't know. They're either going to play Minecraft or Fortnite.
Oh, geez.
I don't know which one. So they're either going to build things or shoot people.
I go with shoot people, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go along with that. So you express a negative opinion.
Yes.
Of okay, which one is she married to? Mrs. Z's music, and first of all, I started hearing this term thrown around. This whole Becky thing. What the hell does Becky mean?
It means you're white, I guess. Because
Yes.
all white females are named Becky or Allison. Apparently, I had no clue.
Really?
It's basically, from what I've heard, it's basically the white equivalent to, I don't even know what the name is, but there's a stereotypical name you'd call a black person if you were being rude or not crude towards them. There's a stereotypical name you'd use
Uncle
to
Tom?
be offensive and rude. No. I can't remember
Okay.
what it is. It's basically it's a equivalent to that. I've been called Becky before for upsetting someone, so that's how I know.
Queen Bee, I'm guessing the B doesn't stand for Becky?
Sure, you know what? We can definitely call me Becky. I mean, if you'd like to. I can be Allison too. Whatever works.
Queen Becky Allison, which the initials then are BA, which stands for other things too. So it works. I like it. So you dared express a negative opinion of Mrs. Z's music.
Yes.
And then the hive swarmed.
Yes.
Essentially, they were like, and you didn't have this handy, so
no. I will from now on, but I didn't then. No.
So what happened? What happened after that?
Okay, well, from the time I sent out the tweet till the time I was actually suspended, like I said, I got called Becky, Allison. I believe I actually got called Mayo because that's another one.
Mayo, I love it.
Yes, Mayo. And I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care about words. I believe in free speech. I wasn't offended by that. But I'm like, after I got suspended, I'm like, okay, this is a little further than what I thought it should have been, what I thought it should have been taken as. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to report the guy that got me suspended because he had made tweets that it was him because he had made comments about how I was inciting racial tension by not liking Beyonce's music.
You will buy all of Beyonce's albums or you're racist.
Right. Because I'm white. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense if you're insane. But I reported him and he got nothing. The email I got back from Twitter said he wasn't in violation of their terms of service, which was insane to me. But I guess it comes back to the whole identity politics thing. And he is a minority and I am not. So he is to be protected and I am to be shunned simply because I'm white. I mean, that's the only way that I look at it as.
That seems a reasonable conclusion to make. And of course, I like how you just kind of glossed right over the whole, I got suspended thing. I say, and then I got suspended and then I realized I'm a Nazi. And so I've been in therapy ever since. And it's actually called Nazis Anonymous. And or is that a support group or an advocacy group? I get confused. Anyway.
I know.
Anyway, so you got suspended after you. Now, did they tell you exactly what it was that got you suspended? Like, did you like respond like like F you, all you mother effers and everything, and did any of that happen? I'm just curious.
The email that I got said that I had hateful conduct.
Hateful conduct.
Yes, hateful conduct. That's what I got. Even though I was called name after name after name, and I never responded to those kind of attacks except to say, I think the one called me Rebecca, and I said, please just call me Becky. Because it was funny and I didn't care. Right. And then the one told me I couldn't be so bold because I had no eyebrows. And I said, actually, I can because, wait for it, Beyonce's music is trash. Beyonce's music is garbage. And, I didn't reply to any of the racial stuff I was getting with racial stuff because the tweet that I sent out wasn't racial at all.
Well, not to mention, you just know better. From Twitter's past recent conduct in the past, it's like, I don't give them anything. Don't give them anything to hang their hat on. And you didn't, from the sounds of it. And yet, here we are.
Yes, here we are. Well, because to be fair, I guess by not liking her music, I did incite racial tension.
You know, screw it. I'm going to incite more because I can't bloody well stand Beyonce or frankly, Kanye West music. What I guess it's okay to hate Kanye West music now. I guess maybe I don't know.
Yeah. That's
and
approved.
basically a whole host of others. You know who else I freaking hate? I hate Eminem. I hate his music. I just really don't like that whole genre.
I don't care for it myself, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I'm kind of okay with jazz though. I can dig the jazz because
Of course. Jazz.
Jazz is cool, man. It's
Okay.
they use actual instruments and everything, and there's talent involved. Beats the heck out of rap. Not that doesn't require talent. I just hate it.
Even to us, the self stereotype of the older co-host being into jazz and the younger one being like, hip hop and rap ain't bad.
Hey, you know what? If I'm okay with checking a few stereotypes, okay? I'm totally all right with it. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, I was driving. I've of course got the longer hair and the beard, right? I'm driving down the road, and oh gosh, I think We're Not Gonna Take It came on the radio. So naturally, windows down, radio cranked up, screaming, and then I kind of realized it's like, wait a minute. I'm wearing blue jeans with a hole in them. I've got a freaking black. I'm a living stereotype right now. I'm like every person that grew up in the '80s. Every white suburban dude that grew up in the '80s right now. Yep, go right down the list.
Well, see, I'm glad. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I did go to one white stereotype when they were continuously coming at me. The one that said, "Is this what white Twitter?" I didn't even know there was a white Twitter versus a black Twitter, but apparently there is. So someone said, "I guess this is what white Twitter does when they get bored." So I replied to that and I said, "We actually have sex with our cousins, but mine was busy." So like, I was making fun of myself, which I couldn't believe I got suspended. I was making fun of myself at that point because it was insane to me that we were going off of race because I didn't like someone's music just because she happened to be black. That's insane.
Right. Oh my goodness. That is hilarious. So just to kind of backtrack and first of all, I should say for anybody watching, you can go ahead and go to the YouTube channel and comment and everything. I'm also kind of keeping an eye on the Twitter. And if you've got any questions you'd like to ask our own personal Queen Bee, you can certainly do so. And so to kind of...
I love that so much. I'm sorry. I love that so much.
Our own personal Queen Bee. It is fantastic.
I love it. I love it. The white version.
Yes. Gosh. Okay, I'm not telling anyone what my Twitter handle is. Okay. All right. So you posted that that Beyonce's music is trash. Agreed. On your own Twitter timeline.
Yes.
And then the Hive swarmed upon you.
Yes.
Stung you about a bazillion times as if they were angry African killer bees, and you poked back a little bit, mostly making fun of yourself. And they're like, "Evil, suspended, off with you."
Nazi, inciting racial tension. Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Off our platform, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Well, not fully off your platform. You weren't banned. You were just suspended.
I was suspended. I still am suspended, and I tried to change my handle back to what that one was, but apparently I can't. It's like this weird thing. I don't know that it's never coming back. I don't think that it is because I'm not an optimist. I'm more pessimistic. I don't think that it's coming back, but it is kind of weird to me because the last suspension I had was 7 days, and I've heard of people getting a suspension for a month. So I mean, it's possible, but it's not likely.
How long has it been? It's been more than a hot minute now.
It's been longer than 7 days, that's
Yeah.
for sure. It hasn't quite been a month yet. So,
Okay.
I mean, we'll wait and see. But the minute that I can get that app back, I probably will be going back to that.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Oh, yeah, just so they can find me. And the one person that got me suspended, they had outright stated it was because of the color of my skin. And that is my header under my new account where they said it was because of the color of my skin. But yeah, that's not racist because I'm white, and you apparently can't be racist against white people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just brought it up. I see it right there. It had to do with the color of that Twitter site skin and how it entitles her to feel like she's something, has the right to dislike
I can
someone's
say whatever
music.
I want because of my white privilege. But my white privilege got me suspended, so I'm wondering exactly how powerful this white privilege is.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's just a crack or two in that theory.
I think so.
I think
it's just a term to use to bash white people over the head with.
Yeah, maybe.
No,
maybe.
not maybe. I'm pretty sure that it is, but we'll go with maybe.
That's why I'm actually gonna get Crystal to, as part of our preparations here for the coming zombie apocalypse here at Fighting the Void. I'm directing her for our merchandise, get an actual armored helmet with the logo on it, so that the white privilege hammer will be less damaging, and also zombies can't eat your brains.
That's genius.
Isn't it though?
It is. It's very smart.
We've got plans. We have got all your prepper needs here.
Well, if I had been wearing that helmet, I might not be suspended.
No, I think you'd still be
suspended.
Fault. I think you just wouldn't have felt it as much.
Well, I didn't really feel it as much because it was funny.
That's true.
I'm a twisted individual.
I guess, and being part of the Fellow Ginger uprising, which totally is not happening right now. You don't actually have. You probably don't have too many feelings anyway. So
no, red hair. You can't.
It's a blessing and a curse. What's that, Crystal?
I mean, it's true though.
It is largely true. It's like when people say things like "it hit me in the feels." I'm like,
what?
Where do you keep those?
They're in a bag.
I read a book once about those.
There's this little thing. It might kind of look like a pouch, but it's not. It's this little thing called a heart, and it's supposed to be in your chest. You gingers might not know that, but you're supposed to have a heart. I mean, even I have one, even I have one, and I'm Satan. I mean, it's like I don't know what to do with you.
This is my Tucker Carlson face right now.
What?
What? I don't. You're saying these words, but okay, heart. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so you got suspended, and clearly that did not keep you down. You're like,
no,
I don't think we're done here.
And then it's really funny too, because after I did my pin tweet and I actually added Jack, because I think I'm one of Jack's all-time favorite people, because anytime he does something shitty, I always tag him in whatever shitty thing he's doing.
Nice.
Yeah, of course. So I added him to try to explain what his reasoning was as far as why I was suspended. I screenshotted everything because I'm not stupid, and because I have no feelings, so I'm more logical, right? So I screenshotted everything that I added him in, and I started popping out screenshot after screenshot after screenshot of all the attacks that I suffered. And I dared them, and anyone actually, to go and find something that I did wrong, because I did nothing wrong.
Right. And I'm going to take a wild guess. You didn't get any response.
No, it's really weird. I was really expecting to.
Really?
No, that was...
Oh, okay. For a second, I was like, this chick ain't as smart as I thought she was. She's going to have to go.
Thanks.
That aspect of your story sounds eerily similar to the story of someone who's in the YouTube comments right now. My friend Paige, she's had this dust up recently with another hip hop artist of some sort, not hip hop, rap, I think, Talib Kweli Green or some such, and he was going after and he and all of his followers are bothering some chick, Mandy something. I don't know anything about her personally, but Paige kind of jumped in to defend her, and well, that's been fun. Basically targeted harassment, tweet after tweet after tweet after retweet after retweet for days on end. Paige has screenshotted all of this, sent it into Twitter, reporting these people. Nothing.
Nothing.
No response at all. And they've been calling her all the same stuff, all the same sort of stuff that they've been calling you. And it kind of, let's just say, Jack, buddy. Your support team is all jacked up. Put it that way. That's by far the mildest thing I could possibly say. But you suck. Bad.
Yeah.
And it's the biases of Twitter and everything could not possibly be more blatant. For anyone that's paying any sort of attention, anyone who knows anyone that's been banned, shadow banned, demonetized, whatever. This is clearly very, very one-sided. Yes, I know there's a few sacrificial there's a few sacrificial lambs here and there. You know, every now and then a left-wing channel gets hit, or a completely non-political channel, like a gaming channel will get hit for something or another. But come on. It's obvious what's going on here. In fact, there was just, I don't know, Queen, Miss B, there's a thread that's been going around, Stealth Jeff, I think it is, about how I shared this with Crystal earlier today. And apparently Twitter is going around and screwing, like this support team is manually going in and screwing around with your interests so that the algorithm will essentially block you from certain things.
What?
Yeah. Crystal, go ahead, because you actually went poking around in your interest. You didn't find anything terribly strange. Well, strange, but not damning necessarily.
Oh, you're talking about the thing Lucas sent us, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah. That's right. I shared it with others. That's right. Lucas shared it with you.
Yeah. So Lucas showed us. I can't remember exactly how you find it right now, because the way the thread explained it's completely different from how I had to find it. But there's this section where you can click see Twitter data, and it'll tell you what Twitter infers your interests are. And some of the interests I got were like WWE, atheism, conservative politics, which I can't say is completely too far off the mark, because I am more that side, but I'm still not like a full-on conservative.
Right.
And even then, I don't dip my toes too much into politics, even though I'm part of this podcast. I kind of talk about it here and there, but mostly I just interact with people who are political. Right. And it included like conservative politics as one of my interests, and everything else was more generalized of like, I'm into politics, I'm into news and politics, I'm into this, I'm into that. And I don't know what did you get, Ginger? I know Lucas got some pretty odd
I haven't looked yet, to be honest, because one, I haven't noticed too many problems with my Twitter, so I'm not overly concerned about it. Because like my other Twitter handle is, I definitely get political on it, but I also interact with a whole lot of completely apolitical people, and so I think that protects me from a lot of stuff in general. Like I did the whole, went to one of those sites to see if you're a bot, basically, and it's like, nope, you're totally not a bot. And I go, cool, thanks. I'm glad I'm not a bunch of zeros and ones that came out of Russia. Good to know.
What? I got put down as a Russian bot and a Trump supporter bot.
Well, I mean, you support Trump, so therefore you're a Russian bot. This is
Yeah, but
logic.
that's the thing. Like,
this is
I don't-
logic. This is
Yeah, but-
logic.
No, but it's not logic because they think that if it's not even supporting, but if you defend Trump in anything,
I know.
automatically that means you support Trump, which isn't true. I'm libertarian.
Right.
I'm not on either side. But if somebody does something right, I think it's intellectually honest to be able to state that.
One would think so. I mean, there were things that I actually, defended Obama on in some cases, rare cases. But like just for example, the at the beginning of his administration, he was talking about going to the negotiating table with all kinds of countries that not exactly friendly to us. Iran, for example. The fundamental idea of sitting down and talking to Iran, I got no problem with that.
No.
It's whatever. You don't lose anything by sitting down and talking to somebody. Now, what happens after that is a whole different ball game. And I wasn't really thrilled necessarily with what happened after that, especially when I learned more about it. But the point being, somebody does something, I'm gonna, somebody does something I agree with, I'm gonna defend them, even somebody that I 99% of the time disagree with.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, exactly. And and Trump is a fine example. There's days when I'm like, yes, go, dude, you are the man. There's other days when I'm like, oh, geez, just shut up, please.
Yes, shut the fuck up. Stop tweeting. Just stop.
Yeah, like most of the time when I say shut up, it's when he's talking. But
see, you can't defend him on anything, even small though, because he's literally Hitler.
Oh yeah, like totes for Vizzles.
Well, that's why we're not. You see.
Yeah.
But can I just say real quick, like, I'm so sick and tired of people just throwing around the words Hitler and Nazi and whatnot. It's like, I have family who had to deal with actual Nazis. Don't water down the word.
Yeah, no kidding.
Nazis were a severe thing and are a severe thing.
Yeah.
Don't throw it around and water it down. And when there actually is a problem, hopefully there isn't ever a problem. I don't think there will be a problem down in the future. But if there ever was, then it could potentially become a cry wolf situation.
Mm-hmm.
You cried wolf how many times? Now we're not going to believe you, even when it is.
Well, arguably we're in that situation now because in Europe there actually are actual neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
They exist here too, but I mean the numbers are so tiny. It's irrelevant.
It's so tiny in the US. Like, I can't remember what specific area, but I know a friend was telling me that in Germany, there's a specific area in Germany where the approval rating for neo-Nazis is actually 30%. Like, actual literal neo-Nazis.
Yep. That's just, unfortunately, that's a bit of a real thing, but what are you going to do? And I'm going to go ahead and take a guess. I'm going to take a guess there, B, and say that you don't actually you don't correspond with any of these people.
What people?
The actual Nazis.
I don't.
You don't think so? You're sure? Are you sure? When was the last time you were in Germany?
I mean, never. But like, if I'm being honest, I don't think I've ever met a fucking Nazi.
No, nor have I.
No, but you would think the way that people talk, they're around every corner and we're just like hugging them and like, how are you doing? It's like, I've never met a single fucking Nazi.
I know, right? Yes, the way they talk, it's like all of us white people get together for meetings on Friday night at down at the local skinhead club, which clearly not a member, and we're all just like high five and like, yeah, woo! Nazis, right?
Like,
yeah.
Well, like it's really weird you mentioned Germany because like my biological father, like he was married to a woman from Germany, and I went over there when many years ago when I was trying to reconnect with him, and I'm like, it's a good idea if my girls get to know their grandfather, so we go over. And there are legitimate people with skinheads and swastika tattoos. Like, I have seen it. And I'm like, you know what? No, fuck this. I'm leaving. I don't want them around that. And they're talking German. So, like, there probably are, but I can't say 100% that they were. Because it could be they're just trying to be cool. I mean, I don't know who in their right mind would think they're cool by getting a swastika tattoo and having a skin head. But I can't say 100% they were Nazis. It just was something I was not comfortable with.
Right. It's not like you sat down and talked to them like, so you actually buy this? You actually all like freaking Mein Kampf and everything, and what's going on?
No, it was more like I went in and seen everyone with swastika tattoos and like skinheads, and I'm like, you know what? What the hell is wrong with you people? I am freaking out of here.
Speaking of actual Nazis, okay, I trust you both heard about the whole let's call it the gender studies thing that came out a couple days ago.
I'm not up to date on that, so I probably shouldn't comment because I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, here's the. Go ahead, Chris.
I probably have, but I'm not sure I know what you're specifically
okay,
about.
The three professors, they kind of saw the rampant political bias going on in academia, and they decided, okay, we're going to expose this. Okay, you know, and
I think I do now that you said that. But go ahead.
All right, for anyone out there that is behind the 8-ball on this one. They submitted a bunch of fake and intentionally ridiculous papers to various gender, sexuality.
The dog humping.
Literally facets. Yes, the dog humping. How could we not talk about the dog humping?
It is rape culture.
Rape culture in the dog park. And but lest you be confused, we are not talking about human rape culture at the dog park, like dudes are showing up with their Great Danes to intimidate women with their Shih Tzus. No. We're talking about rape culture amongst dogs. Yeah. Anyway,
that was insane to me when they said that. Didn't they actually? They submitted it. It got published, and I'm pretty sure. Like, I know some of the ones they submitted got awards. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that was one of them.
Not awards, but that was hailed as excellent scholarship.
That's right. I think that was one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dog humping.
What's that, Crystal?
And wasn't one of the papers actually a legit excerpt from Mein Kampf? But
that's where I was going. That's where I was going.
White.
They just rewrote it as though they were a feminist.
Yes.
I'm sure it was a matter of changing a few words. And that's it. That's where I was going with that. The Nazi thing is like, oh, so apparently being a Nazi is fine if you're a feminist. Which there's this term that's been floating around. I think Rush actually popularized it like a decade ago. The feminazi.
Are we really going to get into feminism? Because
no, good heavens, no,
Shit.
no. That's okay. I'm just saying with the whole Nazi thing is like so. There's this term that most people, lots of people have been like said it's a BS term, feminazi. But then somebody basically writes a feminazi paper, literally, and it gets published. And it gets published. Yeah, you can't make this up. I mean, it's a cliche by now to say that to say that the left is beyond parody, beyond satire, but by golly, is it true?
You must have got that from Ben Shapiro, right?
Oh, so many people say it though.
But that was such a great video. I don't know if you've seen it, the one that you were talking about, dog humping. He couldn't stop laughing.
Oh no, he couldn't. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Yeah, I saw it on Twitter first, and then all the the Daily Wire guys covered it, and I think it got covered on a couple of the other CRTV shows as well. So it's like. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Daily Wire. Andrew Klavan is probably one of my favorite ones out of there.
Andrew Klavan is hilarious.
Oh my God, awesome.
They all make me laugh. Well, Matt Walsh doesn't really make me laugh because he's not a funny guy, but I like Matt Walsh, but he's not funny.
Well, see, Ben Shapiro, I really like Ben Shapiro, but there is one problem that I have with him. He's very snotty.
Yes,
And
he is.
I have a really hard time getting past that. He's more of like, I'm better than you. I don't really like that. Like, he makes a lot of good points and he's obviously highly intelligent, but it really comes off that way. Steven Crowder is a lot better. He's my go-to because
I
he
love
tries
Crowder.
to stay in the center. He tries to stay in the center as much as possible and he tries to be fair. I just feel like Shapiro doesn't do that 100%.
I think Crowder comes off more that way because one, he really does has a lot of leftist guests and everything on the show.
But he's more libertarian, isn't he? Like, he's conservative, but
it depends on which. I
the
think
way
it depends.
he talked.
I think it depends a lot. You know, I don't think he's got too many things that he's libertarian on, but I
know he mentions the non-aggression principle quite a lot.
Right. I think he's more just a I think it's more just a emphasis in a difference in style more than anything else.
That could be.
I think Shapiro he's got a bit more of a neocon streak, I think. You know, I don't think it's huge, and I think it's dwindled.
Well, he's Hitler too. He's Hitler too, and he wears a yarmulke. So that's hilarious.
Obviously, if you are a Republican and Jewish, you're a Nazi.
That doesn't even make sense. How do they do that? How do they get that to work in their head?
Because they know so little about him. They don't know he's Jewish.
He wears a yarmulke on his head.
What makes you think they know what that means?
That's true.
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. They don't. I hate to go full on. You know, like these people are libtards and everything, but I mean, I honestly don't think they know. Like a lot of them, I don't think they know that, and it's not because they're retarded. It's because they don't.
Are you sure?
It's because they don't even try to get. They don't try to get outside their bubble. It's almost like they don't know that the bubble exists, or they just genuinely believe that everything outside their bubble is Nazi.
Well, it could be that, but I think a lot of the time they go off of emotion instead of logic. So they just when they're
don't know they don't know that there's a difference between emotion and logic.
That's gross.
That's how bad it is.
Someone in the chat, Ian B, he said, to be fair, his yarmulke is more low profile.
Well, he does have darker hair, so
there is that.
Yeah.
There is that. Although I'm sure every now and then he turns his head to the side.
You can clearly see it.
I mean, like when he's live, you know,
right?
Like when he was live, he shows up to a campus and talks. I'm sure his head turns to the side every now and then. But I'll grant you, like if you're just watching on YouTube or when he's on Fox, it's hard to see the yarmulke. I'll grant you that.
Listening or just reading his tweets, because I don't think his Twitter profile shows the yarmulke, does it?
I honestly don't know, and honestly, it's so small. And as the Queen pointed out, his hair is dark, and he wears a dark yarmulke. So maybe he wear a white one. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are there.
But to be fair, I mean, he does make it a point to say that, do you see this on my head? This is a yarmulke. And and then he goes on to say that his wife is in fact a doctor.
Oh, yes. In fact, I don't know if you know that, but his wife is a doctor. Yeah.
My wife is a doctor.
and she's a smoking hot doctor at that.
I never seen a picture, so I can't comment on her hotness.
I have seen a picture on occasion posted on the Daily Wire's feed, and she is attractive. It's a fair comment.
I think I've only she's pretty. She's pretty and she's a doctor.
Oh yeah, and she loses her phone.
And she's a doctor.
Wait, is she a doctor?
Yes.
Oh.
And I hope she never. I don't know what kind of doctor it is. I don't know if she's a surgeon or whatever. But I hope if she is, she doesn't lose her phone inside a patient, because that's just going to give you Dark Knight flashbacks, and you're going to be worried about things exploding, and it's going to be bad.
Not to mention a lawsuit. What happens if it's set on vibrate? Like that would be really uncomfortable for a patient.
I guess it depends on exactly where it's lost, I suppose. At the very least, it's going to be strange. It's just at the very least, it's going to be unusual. It's gonna make for a hell of a story. So, how did you retire at 35? Well, I had to get surgery on my prostate, and it just snowballed from there. Anyway, you know. But okay, so I'm curious. You're most commonly known as the safe space assassin. Why do you hate safe spaces so much? It was like why do you want to go and shank them? What is with that?
Well, because I think what happens, like when you mentioned earlier about bubbles, I think that's what it creates. And if you're in a safe space where you never have to hear an opposing side, you're not going to grow intellectually and you're not going to grow as a person. And it's very unfortunate that people want to stay inside their bubble and not hear somebody that might disagree with them.
But what if it has color forms?
What's that?
What if it has color forms? And Play-Doh.
What about Play-Doh? What?
What if the safe space has Play-Doh?
I don't care.
I'm actually not making this up. I read a story about at least one college where they had a physical safe space. They had color forms, crayons, maybe not Play-Doh, puppies though, I think. And I'm not making this up. This is a thing.
Please don't make it a thing.
I'm sorry, Bee. You're gonna have to accept that this is in fact a thing. And of course,
Yeah,
what was that,
there was
Crystal?
one college too had a safe space that was a literal locker that you could go into and just
A locker?
Yes.
That sounds like a horrible idea.
I remember.
And we're up. Crystal, you're totally blacking out, girl.
Yes.
I like the thumbnail though that's saved on there. That's frozen. That's cool. All right. There we are. Crystal, are you with us? All right, Chris. We'll wait for Crystal to settle out a little bit there with the internet connection.
Maybe she mentioned the locker and it made people upset, and they.
It's entirely possible, and maybe the hive swarmed and are like, "You won't put us in a locker. I have claustrophobia from a traumatic experience," and which again, it's just what a locker. That's the kind of thing that bullies shove nerds into in high school,
right?
Who is this a safe space?
Maybe they went in the locker. They went in the locker and they cried because they heard an opposing.
Maybe the memories were comforting in some sort of weird, like masochistic Stockholm sort of way. Again, you can't make these things up.
I really want to hear more about this locker, though. I really wish our connection would come back.
She's just dropping in the chat there, and I see you moving around, Crystal. I think your connection is better.
Finally.
Yes. So you were explaining what the locker was before your internet decided that no, you don't get to talk about the locker.
This was months ago. A friend and I were talking about it, and there was this locker. And there was if I remember from the picture correctly, there was a locker, there was a pillow in the locker, and it was like one of the examples they use. You could go in there, like if you failed a test or you're stressed about a test, just go in there and just cry it out, and then you sleep when you're ready. It's fine, Just go into the little locker and cry. You know, it's not like you're 18 or anything, trying to be an adult, gain an education so you could get a job. Just go in there and cry.
What are they going to do when they get a job? There's no locker at any job I've ever had that you can go inside and cry when your boss tells you, like, you're doing your job. Like, shit. Like, you don't have a locker to go into.
Okay, first of all,
bathroom.
You're making the assumption that they're going to get jobs. You're making that assumption.
I'm trying. You know what? I'm trying to change my pessimistic views and trying to be a little optimistic.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you trying to turn over a new leaf. But I mean, I'm sorry. Assuming people are going to get jobs is like assuming their gender. It's just horrible. And
how dare I assume you're going to get a job?
How dare you? And and again, I saw this thing on Mashable a while back. I can't remember what it's called. It's called like a sleep pod, a nap pod, something like that. It's basically like this little portable pup tent. You can just take around and just pop up anywhere. Like it's a portable locker that you could go into and cry in even when you're at work.
I would fire those employees.
Yeah. Unless I'm sorry, but the thing is, even if they get a job, how much you bet they get a job at a place like Vox?
Oh my God, don't bring up Vox.
I guarantee you they have the equivalent of a locker at Vox.
They probably do.
BuzzFeed.
They have nap time.
I don't know if they do, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
No, they definitely have nap time. I would guarantee it because they all sound every article I've ever read from Vox sounds like they all need a nap, like really bad, or a snack.
And let's be honest here. Everyone freaking out over every little thing needs to chill out, take a nap, and then come back to the real world because it's like people just chill.
No kidding. It's like
chill.
Oh, yeah. There is like this whole alternative reality that's come to exist, and what concerns me is, and I've mentioned this before, it's not just on the campuses. It's not just in the left-wing strongholds of the country anymore. It's actually filtering out. And I grant you this is anecdotal, but I know someone who works in customer service, and he's a supervisor. So he gets a lot of he has to work with a lot of these kids who are just coming out of school, getting their first job. And he's like, yeah, it's coming out of the colleges, it's entering the workplace, and it's bad. It's everywhere. And I was like, yeah, okay, great. No, we're doomed. We're doomed. That is, in fact, my favorite. My favorite GIF, and it is GIF. I don't care what Shapiro thinks. It's a GIF, and it's my favorite GIF is actually the C-3PO one of him just saying, "We're doomed." Which says a lot. But wait a minute, hold on. B, do you know this? I think we're probably roughly the same age. You do know the Star Wars.
I hate Star Wars.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I know.
no.
I know.
I am so triggered right now.
I know. See, do you need a safe space? Maybe you can go in that locker, with the pillow and cry it out. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I hate
I'm back.
Every time I've tried to watch it, I've fallen asleep each and every time. The most boring thing I've ever tried to sit through in my entire life.
Becky, I like you.
That's true. Crystal also does not enjoy the Star Wars. I blame that on the prequels, but
okay. In order to not enjoy it, I would have need to see that I have no interest in Star Wars is what it is.
No, you're not you're not a spacey person in that way.
Nah,
I think it's a penis thing.
A what?
It's a penis thing.
Hey, are you saying girls can't like Star Wars?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, we strive for clarity on this show.
It's unusual for a female to like Star Wars. So if you're a female and you like Star Wars, there's something wrong with you, and you should probably seek therapy. So
what you're saying is that the lightsaber is some sort of Freudian projection?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad we got that out of the open. I've never really thought about it from that angle before, but hey, we've got to be open to new ideas and that sort of thing.
You know
okay.
what?
What?
since we're in this territory, I might as well just make this joke. There is a dick in one of the movies I like, though. Richard Armitage was an extra in the movies.
What now?
Richard Armitage was an extra in one of the movies.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And dick is short for.
Which one was he in?
I can't. It was. I can't remember. I think it was the one that's most bashed that has Natalie Portman. And then
well, the one that's most bashed would be episode 1 because it's atrocious.
I think it's one of the prequel ones though.
You know, I feel like this. I think this is going to have to be an episode. You know, like is Star Wars primarily a penis thing? I think I think this needs to be discussed. I need to. I need to find a woman who's willing to come on and defend Star Wars as being, as being universal across the whole gender spectrum.
The females that like Star Wars, they might actually be trans. That could be what it is, and they just might not know it. They might identify as a man, and we need to help them get over that.
Oh my goodness! So what you're saying is we should try to contact Blair White. Oh wait, no, that's a dude. The different, wrong direction.
It would kind of. I am curious now if Blair White.
That's a good point. It still would be a good thought experiment.
Yeah, and I do. I love Blair White. I like how she discusses it, and I think she does the community very well with how she discusses it. I don't know why everyone gets on her case. I think she handles it relatively well.
I think people get on Blair's case specifically because of the way things are handled. Because Blair is very, very open and honest about the situation, about that. You know what? Biologically, yeah, you look at my DNA and everything, I'm a dude. and like this was discussed on Crowder actually a while back, as a matter of fact, where Blair was very much like, yeah, that's true. That's the way that it is. Yeah, and the whole thing with that, frankly, gets complicated, and those are difficult waters to navigate. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I would much rather take a question to someone like her because she's not going to take offense to an honest question.
I agree, and that is one of the things that I really like about Blair, because, like, you know what? I know this is weird. This is not normal in any normal sense of that word, but here I am, and I think one of the things that was said in one of Blair's Crowder appearances was essentially was like, I did this because of everything. I did this essentially as a treatment for the disorder that I have, and maybe someday there'll be a better option. I hope there is. I'm like, that is an unusual take, and that is exactly why she gets people on her case.
Well, did you hear she said something about she was accused of transgenocide, I guess, like wishing they were all dead.
I'm not even remotely surprised by this, but I don't know that I heard it, but I'm not shocked.
What they were saying is because I guess she made a comment that she wished that, because she does claim that it's mental illness, and she's very open and honest about that. Yeah. She made a comment that she wished there was some kind of pill or treatment that could correct that. Right. And all of a sudden, you want to do away with trans people. But the way I view it now, granted, I'm not trans, so I can't say that I understand it 100%, and I'm not claiming to. But I would think that if these people are suffering the way that they are, that's really not far-fetched that she would want them to get some kind of help so that they didn't have to feel that way.
Yeah, she was talking about that because I think I remember watching that. She was talking about because even after the transition, she still deals with gender dysphoria, and because it plagues her.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because it's like, because she did a transition to better help with it, I think, if I remember correctly. But even then, she still has to deal with like the feelings of like, oh, I don't look enough like a woman. People are gonna know I'm actually a man. People are this and that and this and that, and it's gender dysphoria doesn't automatically disappear when you transition. You know, from my
I mean,
from
that's
what I
super
understand.
reasonable.
For a lot of people, it can become better manageable and easier to handle, but it's still there.
Yeah, it seems to be the case with Blair. You know, better manageable. But I do recall when I first heard that Blair was trans, I'm like, what?
She's hot. Like, she looks way better than most women that I know. So, like, her surgeon, I really want to know who did her surgery.
Once I knew that, and once I believed it, I actually had a look. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, that's true. Huh. I was like, okay, now I can see it. You know,
yeah.
Now, you know, I can look at the pictures and everything. It's like, oh yes, I can see the work that's done now. But if I had never known and wasn't looking for it, probably would never guess.
Well, you had mentioned like safe spaces before, right? So yeah. I want to touch on that since we're talking about Blair. There was an episode where her and her boyfriend, which he's obviously an amazing person that he could get through that, but they were out walking around, and I think it was Los Angeles area, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they were wearing MAGA hats, and they just wanted to see the reaction. And somebody threw alcohol in her face and ran away. Yeah. And people defended that because they said that by her and him wearing those hats, they were somehow committing acts of violence because now clothing is violence. And I'm not sure how great a leap you need to take to get to where clothing is violence.
Yeah, this it gets honestly to the worldview that's taught in universities, and actually we're coming up on our time here, so there isn't a ton of time to get into that. But it's essentially a whole worldview of philosophy where reality is literally defined by words, and so if your words challenge a person's reality, you're literally destroying the reality with your words. Yeah. There is a really stupid. It's rooted in it's kind of a combination of idealism, and not the idealism like I think everything should be great idealism. That it's a specific philosophy. Idealism, nominalism, and nihilism is, I think, the soup that is leading to this sort of insanity. And it's the basic worldview that's taught in the universities. And I wouldn't blame a lot of these people for falling for it so heavily if reality didn't so obviously refute it. I mean, these are the people that take seriously questions like, do I really exist? You know, these are people that ask those questions and mean it. These are questions that take seriously the possibility that we are living in some sort of alien simulation.
A matrix, yeah.
Yes, we're living in some sort of alien matrix, and we just don't know it. You know, like Elon Musk seems to entertain that possibility. Whatever. All I got to say is I want that tech.
Yeah, well, words. It's reached a point where somehow people think that words create reality, when in fact that's not how reality works.
Right. That's how we how we express ideas. That's how we talk about reality. That is not actually reality. By golly, the freaking piano falls on my head, whether I call it a piano or a bouquet.
Well, maybe that's why we have to go back to those lockers that have the pillows, and we need to cry in, because when we speak things, it doesn't automatically change reality.
No, exactly. And when we cry, when we cry about our failed test, it doesn't make us pass the test.
And to be completely fair, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's the redhead part coming out, but like, I don't care if you're crying because you failed a test. Like, that's just, it doesn't matter to me that you're crying. No. Like, that's just that's not a legitimate reason to cry.
No, it isn't. I suppose the one reason it's like your parents are insane and they're going to beat you when you get home because you failed the test. You know, then maybe okay. But if it's just like, I failed a test and I feel horrible about myself. You know what? suck it up, man. You failed.
Well,
Study harder next time. Study harder next time.
Well, you mentioned like college campuses and stuff. Like, but where are the parents? Like, what went wrong in parenting that allowed the kids to be the way that they are now? Like, what kind of parents? I mean, because like you have kids too.
Yeah.
And you certainly do. You like I'm not one of those moms. Like, I'm more a dad in the aspect of like when my kids are crying for something there's no legitimate reason to cry. I'm not that mom that like, oh, my baby is crying. I'm more like, what are you crying for? Like, this is not a reason to cry.
That's kind of what happens with me. Go ahead, Crystal.
Well, I think the problem is, and I've kind of noticed this while growing, and Emily noticed it as well. And there are a lot of parents who are raising kids and kind of coddling them, basically.
Yeah.
You're perfect. It's everyone else that's the problem.
Oh yeah. Let's just put it this way: my kids are not raised with that. It's not everyone else that's the problem. Sometimes maybe someone else is the problem, but you know what? When it comes to your issues with school and schoolwork and everything, guess what? It's you.
That's you.
It's you, and it's it's your job to go to study harder, ask the teacher what you need help with. I'll help you too, but you have to ask. I'm not gonna sit there and monitor every little thing. Bring it to me, and I will look and I will help you. But you are going to be doing your own work too. I will teach you how to do it yourself, and so on. I've been through this with my kids, and some of them, they're all different. I have a number of kids. They're all different, and some of them actually are quite a bit more prone to crying than others, for reasons that frankly sometimes are baffling to me. And
my youngest is that way.
Yeah. And you know what? It's like, no, stop. It's not like, oh, they're there. It's like, dude, stop. Really, it's not that big of a deal.
Right. Well, I feel bad too. Yeah. Because like my youngest is ultra sensitive, so she has a habit of when someone calls her a name, and I don't relate to my youngest in this way, but when someone calls her a name, she gets really, really upset, and she cries and she discusses it. And I'm just like, well, they have nothing to do with how do you feel about yourself? Do you think you're the way that they described you? Then what do you care for?
Yeah. Yeah. And, and I don't mean to sound all completely heartless, but it's, it is more of us like, okay, you talk about it, you work through it, realize this isn't a good reason for you to be crying right now. There are good reasons. This is not one of them. And, go deal with it this way and it'll be better. And so on and so forth. Wow, we got serious all of a sudden. How did that happen?
I don't know.
My goodness, we spent the last few minutes of the show getting all super serious and everything. But did you, Queen Bee, did you have anything else you'd like to add to the safe spaces discussion or anything else? What's next for the for the queen of triggering beehives?
I'm just saying whatever I want to, and people can accept it or they can't. Like, there's no, especially with Twitter. Like, if somebody puts something out and you don't like it, I don't know if people know this or not, you can scroll past it. You don't have to. You can block me too. I am not opposed to people blocking me or even muting me. If you don't like what I say or how I feel, then just block or mute me, or anybody else for that matter. You don't have to listen to it.
So but you don't get to with it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm okay with that. If you don't like what I say or do, then block me. But you don't have the right to go around and tell people what they can and cannot say, as long as they're not targeting you and harassing you, because that's a completely different thing that has nothing to do with freedom of speech.
And you know what? I think that is a perfect sentiment to end the show on, because that is exactly what this show is all about. Get out there, say what you think. You say what you want. Say what you think. Frankly, about me, it's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to agree with me. In fact, if you disagree with me, and in fact, I'm going to tell you right now, if you disagree with me, If you want to come on the show and you disagree with something that myself or Crystal say, let us know. Let us know. I will happily debate anybody about anything, and we'll work it out. Go ahead and DM. It's fight. What's the freaking Twitter handle? I sometimes mess this up. It's Fighting Void. Go ahead. Send a message. Tweet me. Bring it on. Love if you disagree. Love to have you on. Love to talk about it. Don't worry. We'll be respectful, and it's a safe-ish space. By which I mean we don't. We'll discuss the ideas and we'll say what we think, but we won't get personal. How's that? Okay. So on that note, at Twitter side lives for now, unless she goes back to Twitter side. If that account is ever unlocked. Again, follow us on YouTube. At Fighting Void is our Twitter handle. And oh, you know what? Crystal, should we make the announcement? Who our next guest is? Who our next guest is on the show? Okay, this Thursday. This Thursday we're going to be having on. It's going to be we're interviewing on a Thursday. I'm not sure when the video will be up yet, but on Thursday we're going to be interviewing Andrew Pollack, who is the father of one of the victims of the Parkland shooting.
Oh, wow.
From back in February. So he's going to be on the show, and we're going to be talking about his program, Americans for Class, arguing for common sense solutions to protect our schools from things like what happened to his daughter. So be here. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be huge, and it's going to be, that's not even the most important part. I'm really eager to talk to Mr. Pollack and discuss his ideas. I've looked at them a little bit already, and it's stuff that I think almost every single person in this country should be able to agree on. So, on that, again, very serious note, I would like to thank everybody for coming by. Thanks for everybody who stopped by in the chat. And Queen Bee, thank you so much for coming on the show. I had a ton of fun having you on. We are going to have to do this again.
Sounds good.
The next time you get suspended, just let us know.
Don't say that. My God. But can I say
Yeah.
one more thing?
You may.
I have no problem debating or talking to somebody with opposing views. Just do me a favor, instead of just very cowardly reporting my tweets, how about you just actually try to talk to me first? I'm a relatively reasonable woman. I'm not going to scream at you. I'm not even going to curse you out. I know my tweets kind of make it seem like I might. I'm not going to do that. Just instead of reporting, let's have a conversation instead.
And you know what? Again, that is a perfect perfect sentiment to end the episode on. So once more, thank you for coming on. Thank you everybody who watched, liked, shared, subscribed, all the words. And be back here probably later in the week, and we'll have that other video up. It's going to be interesting, people. All right. Until then, keep fighting the good fight.